messed up. Hey! How can I remember all the ghosts that led me here? Silent is their answer. Witness to the shadowlands, ephemeral as the dust, illusions draped within my pride. Take all of these words for what they're worth and let them go. Moving past the corridor, locked inside our heads, stillness, place forsaken. Yet we've walked together, you and I alone, hopeful to remember. Take all of these words for what they're worth and let me go. Take all of these words for what they're worth and let them go. A single candle lights your way. them go. I think I have a take. I will stop recording though. I will save that for later. I can't see your chats. Not yet, anyway. Been a busy bee. So give me a second. I'm going to save my work because, yes, I've been recording and I've been filming and a bunch of stuff today. And I'll explain what just happened. I think. Should I explain? I don't know if I should explain. I don't know. So, if you... First of all, hi everyone. Welcome to another version of the live stream, which is crazy and live, really live. And anything can happen or go wrong. And I risk it every single time. But I have no idea what I'm playing tonight because there was no list. I literally have picked nothing other than the song that I wanted to work on. So you're like a fly on the wall, and I was working out parts up until the last second. Yes. Oh man, so funny. So this track was originally a song that was supposed to be on the album that was going to follow Hope, originally titled Stillness, and then it was going to be called Deconstructivism, and there was this song that I felt competed a little bit too much with Emily on that song, on that album. So what I did was I turned it into an instrumental, and then I threw the words out because I don't remember what happened to the words. I looked for them all week, but I was going from memory, and what was interesting to me anyway was that at first I was going to write just a completely new set of lyrics, but the gestures, once I started to actually rehearse it, the gestures and things started to recall the actual vocals, meaning the old words, and I can prove it. I think I can. Yeah, I can prove it. So these are my revisions. Oh, sorry, up there. These are my revisions just today, like all the scratched out parts. As I was singing, I was remembering basically all the parts to this song, and including parts that didn't wind up on the instrumental, which it didn't even have drums. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is remember when the new year started, I said I was going to scale up. Everything was going to scale up. So it's not so much that that's the topic for tonight, but I kind of wanted to talk about where the trajectory is leading as far as for Abox. So good things coming. I mean, literally, I am very grateful right now, but it is a tough time because I want to work on new things, but for some reason, working on the past stuff brings me back into that era, which is weird. But this week, I decided to just go with it. I literally woke up from a dream where we were playing in some really strange venue, and I can't even tell you what it was, but it's in a strange venue that I know we never actually played, but it felt so real. And for some reason, that track was in that dream, like it was coming back. And I thought, once I got up, after I go for my walk, I think I'm going to see if I can figure out tempo information and pop it into Ableton and cut it up. And even though it's supposed to be an instrumental, let's see if I can make it back into its song mode. So, anyway, I have no idea what you guys are talking about because I can't see the chats yet. But I will. I was nervous because I was obviously practicing and singing it, and it's not easy to do when people are around. But at the same time, it's even weirder thinking that I'm going to practice something and that people are listening in. Like, I'm not really used to that. As much as you may think I can pull it off, it's actually really nerve-wracking. So, but anyway, so my point is that this week has been a very trying week to get the recording stuff done. And kind of like get back into the momentum of things, because I feel like I fell off a cliff and didn't want to do anything. But I did manage a lot of work, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff I did that is mediocre at best. But the point I'm going to make is that the steps are being taken, so therefore, at least I'm on that trajectory. The worst thing that can happen is that you're not even on the trajectory. So anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I should play something, but I don't know what to play because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something a little nuts. Let's see. Well, actually, I don't know what I can do because I've lost my playlist. Oh, that's so crazy. Of course it's going to happen while I'm on the stream. What do you think is going to happen? Let's see. I'm going to try this and see if it works. Oh my God, this could go wrong. Oh, well, I might as well play it. Screw it. Vic 20 with me on vocals doing the New Order track there, Temptation. I'm lucky that I pulled it up in time to play something because it was like, what? Um, so yeah. Hi. I'm on the chat now and I can see the chat. So, um, yeah. So you can ask me questions and whatnot. Uh, hmm. Sorry, my volume was down, but I don't think you guys heard that, only me. But thank you for all the compliments. So, I don't know if you can you see it? No, I don't think you can. Oh wait, I'm sitting right behind it. Nope, can't see it. There's a camera back here because I was shooting. Oh, I was shooting video earlier. That's why I'm all dressed up and got a tie on and everything. Got to represent a little bit. I needed to look a little more poshy. Yes, I had to be a bit more spiffy. But no, I'm kidding. But what happened was, what you see is what you get. No. So what happened was, um, I wanted to do some promos for South America. So I was working on those before the stream, and I was actually doing camera facing stuff, which I really don't like doing. I'm surprised actually. What I should do is pretend I'm streaming, because every time I go to do an ID or try to do those promo things, I think I really suck at them. You would think that after all this time that I would get them right, but I still hate doing IDs. Like it just like it's like I don't know. So, but anyway, so yeah, I wore a tie with my little skull, my skull tie. So I thought I wouldn't change and I just keep my clothes. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, this week I was updating the sites, um, and working on trying to finish the last bits, and then realizing, of course, that I have to do a lot of work still. But it's almost done. But I can show you what I've been doing. So yeah, hold on. Let's see if I got this right. Yeah, sure. That's you guys. So this is what I've been doing. So I updated endpop, as you can see, and now it shows the book in there and a bunch of other stuff, that kind of thing. So I updated the endpop site and I did a whole rewrite of the anythingbox.com. Yes, I code shit too, which believe me, I'm not good at it. I can just barely pass, but it's okay. But yeah, I did, has all the shows. So I can go down the line and now I can like look at the shows that are coming up. Some flyers, again, the book, the albums and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So all the grunt work had to be done because since this thing is coming right there, since that's coming, um, it was work that had to be done. So I didn't want to put it off until later because I've got shows coming up really close. New York's coming up. It's going to come right up. And I'm going to be in New York, of course, on the 3rd of next month, followed by Peru. And immediately after that, I am doing what may be a Chicago date and El Paso um, in the month of July. So it's going to be really busy. So what I'm trying to do desperately is get to the merch stuff I have to design. I have to like get the book into production, all these weird things that are just at the tail end of the work. It's hard because it's at that last bit that everything tends to, like, for lack of a better word, go ape shit. Like everything just goes nuts when you're almost at the end, which reminds me of the chapter in The War of Art, which is said, be wary of the end. Because one of the funny things about, I'm stuttering again, one of the funny things about resistance, and I talk about resistance a lot, is that it gets you the most when you're at the end. When you're at the very end and you're about to finish, that's usually when the writer crumples up the book and throws it into the trash, or the painter, like, decides he's going to start over, And I was that close because I looked at stuff and I was like, maybe I didn't use the right font. Maybe I didn't do the right pictures. Maybe I should go back and re-edit the whole thing. Maybe. So that kept me on the loop for a little bit. And so it kind of took me back a bit, and it wasn't a pleasant feeling. Um, but it's because I'm so close to the end. And at the same time, I'm super hyper creative. So I've been painting a lot, I've been drawing a lot. So my focus has been like stretched this week for sure. So, uh, but I'm doing the best I can. So it's coming out good. I went over everything this week. Literally yesterday, I think I went over the book one more time, and I'm probably going to go over it like three more times before the week is up. But the weekend for me is Sunday. So, but I don't think I'm going to work on Sunday. Well, anyway, my point is it's almost done. And it's been a journey, but with it, it brought some good treasures. Like I said, I worked on a song that for some reason I was compelled to work on, which is good. And it got me back to some notes about the things that I wanted to scale up. Because if you didn't know, my New Year's resolution, which I've been kind of sticking to as much as possible, was to scale up. Everything had to scale up in some form or fashion, whether it's skills, whether it's creative output, whether it was concentrating on, releases, all that kind of stuff. Um, the chat's just like scrolled so fast that I can't even. Wow. Yeah. Wendy's up at 4 a.m. because she's in London. That's funny, Wendy. Yeah, you should go back to sleep. You can watch it tomorrow. But yeah, so the funny thing was that yeah, like I discovered all these notes that I had made, and one of the things I want to do is get all the albums on Bandcamp, all of them. And I don't it's not that I'm going to take them off Spotify, but I just want to have all of them on Bandcamp. And I want to take the opportunity to either remaster some of them if that's possible, which in most cases it is without ruining things. Um, but it's more so that I want everything to be found in one place. And what I don't like about Spotify and iTunes is that you don't really get to keep the music, you just get to stream it. So I want to make sure that all the albums from the past all go on Bandcamp. So the song that I started the stream with is probably going to wind up being added to the tail end of Recovered when I upload it. Um, since those don't require books, and I'm not going to be doing books for every single album, I'm only going to be doing books for newer releases, really. But I thought it would be fun that at least every 2 weeks I try to challenge myself to upload one of the classic albums and put them. Did I just call it a classic album? That's because I'm old. Um, one of the older records, I want to upload them into Bandcamp. Um, and a couple reasons actually, besides just the obvious, just streaming stuff. I like listening to them there because at least I'm hearing the best versions, um, quality wise, and I always discover really good music there. So a lot of my notes centered around trying to scale up all the different places that I get the most support. And so it makes sense that I should focus more attention on Bandcamp. So I'm going to. Um, however, that said, hope, Recovered, all that stuff. It's already on Spotify, so you don't have to do anything, but it'll be nice to have it on Bandcamp if you want to have the nicer versions when it's done. So, and there'll be B-sides and weird stuff. So, but anyway, and the book will be there, so soon. So, yeah. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about all week. And you would think it's just a simple thing, right? But it's just me. And, so it's difficult to, I don't know, allocate work time so that I can say, well, I'm going to work on site stuff today. And then tomorrow I'll go back to the book. And the next day I'll work on recovered. And the next day I'll look into Electrodelica's masters and see how they're doing and so forth. Terrible way to work. But it's the only way I know how, because if I don't, nothing gets done. So at least I'm separating bits and pieces of the work and spreading it out. But other than that, how are you doing? What's going on in your world, people? Talk to me. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know that this is going to be a super long stream today because I've got a lot of work ahead. I'll probably be editing the video promo that I'm doing for South America after the stream. So my work's got is a little bit, I got to catch up. But that's funny. So a bunch of nada is okay sometimes. But yeah, so definitely this is a push for Bandcamp. I definitely want you to check it out. And I'm looking into the idea of maybe featuring a few artists from Bandcamp because I think I can get away with it and YouTube won't give me a strike. I may try that out next week. I might try that. Jose asks me, are you doing the promo in Spanish? I actually am, which makes it harder because when I do something in Spanish, my brain has to focus in Spanish. And if you think I'm cuckoo nuts in English, I'm 10 times worse in Spanish. But, and Mark says, just don't lose focus. Nope, not this week. I have it all planned out now. And it's working out. Like I said, I got further than I thought I was going to get. And the idea that I was able to update both sites this week was a big deal because I was like, wow, well, that was coming. I might as well do grunt work if I don't feel like doing creative work. And that's kind of what I'm doing. It's like, the way I see it, the grunt work has to be done no matter what. You're going to have to do it. And the creative work is going to be the fun thing. So I kind of give myself rewards, for lack of a better word. Like if I do this grunt work, then I can work on that song for a while. And if I work on that song for a while and I've done the creative bits, then I can go back to something more boring like liner notes and, checking, Joseph says, on Bandcamp, there's a cover of Heaven by someone else. Was this authorized? It was, actually. It's friends of mine from Jersey. They did a pretty interesting cover of Heaven, actually, which is funny because they released it before I did. That's how funny that story is. But yeah, it's a cover done by a few friends of mine from Jersey. And it's funny. Is it on Bandcamp? You should post the link so people could hear it if you find it. Yeah, it was Carol Masters. Yes, correct. I was like having a moment. I was like, what? Because he had two different. Actually, he had three different bands. Rui. He had Carol Masters. He had Memory Garden, and there was a weird industrial one. So I couldn't remember which one of them did the Heaven thing, but it was Carol Masters. So yeah. But so yeah. So Robert on Facebook says, Claude, when you do shows with band like T for Two or Information Society, who contacts who first? I have no idea because the way that shows work for me, like most bands, well, I shouldn't say most bands. You have to watch the episode on pseudo-fame because that's a really funny one. It'll detail this in more detail, but the short of it is, I'm always the last one to know. I will find out who's going or who's going to be at a show with me, but it's not that they contact me first or I contact them first. The agents take care of all that and they talk to each other, whoever is whose agent. And then I just get the call that says, you have a gig at this place, blah, blah, blah. And this is what it pays. Do you want to do it? And then it's like, yes or no. And, although really, I don't really say no, but you know what I mean. It's one of those. And Tony on Facebook says, have you used Deezer? I do use it. My stuff is on Deezer. It's an automatic thing that anything that I put on my aggregator goes to Deezer, with the exceptions of things that I leave exclusively for Bandcamp. And there are quite a few things that I leave exclusively for Bandcamp. And the reason is simple. Demo things, old tapes, stuff like that. I don't know that I want that stuff on Spotify per se, but I don't mind it being, all together in Bandcamp. For some reason, I don't mind it on Bandcamp, but on Spotify, it could be a pain in the butt to have like old hissy tapes on there. Although I've done it with some, but anywho, let's play a song. Daniel on Facebook says, hola Claudio, I just wanted to say hello. Every time I see you, it just brings the 1997th grade in my head, and you and DM are just part of what made me start playing music, especially me being a Latino. See, I can't even read now. Gracias, carnal. Thank you. Thank you for that, Daniel. Robert Walker, how will AI affect Abox in the future? That's a good question. It won't. I don't think it will, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone's going to be interested in doing Abox stuff with it, but if they do, what can I tell you? I don't know. I don't think it's going to affect me in that sense. I have my own thing going on. At least I think I have my own thing going on. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'll go barefoot wandering through the desert, like Kane from Kung Fu, and just paint pictures for people as I walk across the world. That's what I'll do if AI takes over. I will be a nomad renegade, probably driving around in a Winnebago outfitted with speakers so that I could do concerts outside. That's what I will do. And if it's, that's probably what I would do. Mark's laughing. Kane. Hey, I love Kung Fu. I'm not going to lie. I actually love Kung Fu. It's like one of my favorites. So there, something about me now. So I'm going to play something. I'm going to play something from the Hope album since it's its 30th anniversary, and I'll play you one of the remasters. That's what I'm going to do. The Rice Paper. Oh my God. Yes, the Rice Paper. Take this pebble from my hand. Oh man, you guys are crazy. All right. Let's play something funny. So Daniel asks, do you remember by chance playing Sacramento around 1995 at the Rage? I met you there and you spoke Spanish. I was like, F yeah. You were really kind and your voice was awesome live as it is on the cassettes. Thank you. Except it sounds really old to think cassettes. That part sounds old. But at the same time, you know what? What the heck? What can I tell you? Uh, but no, actually, I do remember playing The Rage because I believe that was a night we played with, I want to say either Cause and Effect or Red Flag. Um, Tony says, replying to my reply about AI stuff, because we're on that conversation again. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting decade for music. My hunch is that the listeners will not latch on. And artists will have the same sentiment about creating art. I think you're right, but not in the short term. In the short term, everyone's gonna go crazy doing stupid things with it. But I think in the long run, it'll become boring. Uh, in some cases, it's already boring. Um, but I've seen some interesting stuff. Don't get me wrong, and I've heard some interesting stuff when it comes to the music side of it. It doesn't thrill me. We talked about this last week, but it doesn't thrill me at all. Um, to make music that way. So I don't think that I will be using it to create music. Um, I can't see it happening. I'm definitely not using it to write lyrics. I'm definitely not. I would rather spend hours scratching word after word off a page and trying over and over again until it's right, um, than to turn that part of my psyche over to something else. Like that's just not me. So, and it's a funny thing. This conversation just keeps coming up. It keeps coming up on Twitter. It keeps coming up on YouTube. It keeps coming up everywhere that I go because it's so pervasive. And speaking of pervasive, I saw some deep fakes. Remember we talked about the deep fakes last week? Oh my god. I saw some deep fakes this week that are just crazy. Like crazy crazy. So that kind of stuff is the stuff that to me again is the stuff that bothers me more than, like someone doing a Living in Oblivion cover because AI let them do it. I don't care. I don't really care. It's not going to affect me. And I'm not going in that direction to make art. So, you know, digital, yes, I use digital tools and I love digital stuff. Just don't need it for that kind of stuff. I mean, correcting stuff, it's good for that, like, but even then, I don't know. I have this, I have this way of working, and I don't mean just like in Photoshop or something like that. I'm talking about whether it's Ableton, whether it's editing video, or even working on Word. I don't use like all the crazy shortcuts. I don't memorize all the different things. I like getting my hands so dirty when I'm working that I don't have time to remember those things. So I just roll with it. So maybe things take me 10 times longer, but at least I get it done. Whereas I tried to learn like what all the shortcuts were for things, and I spent more time trying to memorize it than actually doing the stuff. So I decided that I'm not going to do that with music or art. And I feel like that's just an extra step, like to have to teach a machine like what I'm thinking. And then if it gets it wrong, well, if it gets it right, I think it would scare me more than if it gets it wrong. But anyway, so yeah, nah, not doing it. So Anyway, the phone line is open, so you can call in if it works. At least I hope it works. It should work. Someone can try it and then let me know. But at any rate, I think I did it. Did I? There it is. The future is here. Get it while you can. 562 380 0626. Whatever's on your mind. I mean, seriously, whatever the heck is on your mind, just speak your mind, and we'll chat about it. It's one of those kind of evenings, which is fine. I'm quite enjoying myself in that sense. Um, yikes! So as I'm reading here, um, Ira wrote, asked AI to write the first chapter of a new song of Ice and Fire book earlier, and it was very scary good. I would probably buy a book written by AI if it was consistent. The next 5 years will be interesting. See, that's just it, though. Like, well, here's the thing. Here's this conversation. Always this back to this conversation, I think. But here's the thing. If I'm in Barnes and Noble, let's just pretend, and I'm perusing books, and I pick up a book and it says the first novel written by an AI. Let's just say, and I know this is going to happen if it didn't already, but let's just say I pick it up and I read the story, or read what it's about, and I think, okay, it looks interesting. I would probably buy it. I would buy it because I would want to see how a machine writes. And the story would probably be interesting, and I'll explain that too, because it knows human psychology, so it knows how to structure the story to the letter of something we would like. So whether it's a fantasy, western, sci-fi, whatever it is, it's going to have a character that gets ejected out of his normal life and thrust into some crazy adventure where he has to either save someone, find something, go on a quest, and then bring that back to A, B, or C, and the world is better. And yeah, there's a reason why those stories work. And I get it, we're used to it. So a novel written by an AI would probably follow those tried and true formulas. But it would be enjoyable because I would be thrilled of the idea that, okay, I'm reading a story written by a robot. What would bother me would be to go looking for new books, and not know whether it was written by an AI or a robot or a person. That's the kind of stuff that bugs me. Like, I want to know. It's my decision whether I buy it or not, but I want to know how it was made. That's just my thing. So, like, if I go to, I think, that, someone describes AI as a sociopath because it lacks emotion. Yep, I believe it is a sociopath. I do think it's a sociopath. You gave me an idea for a song. I have a song title now. Sociopathic robot, or the sociopath being, non-being. I don't know. But yeah, Brian George says, you're going down an unknown black hole. But I'm not going down that black hole. The whole world's going down that black hole. I can't get away with it. I can't get away from it. I go on Twitter. So this is an example. And I know I'm not the only one going through this crap, but let's say I go on Twitter and I'm looking for new art. I can tell right off the AI art that's AI art, like meaning I can tell. So if it's hyper real and it's got that uh, matrixy kind of look, you know what I mean, in the landscapes, and the robots look very stylized. Like that's the best word I have for it. Very Matrix like. If I see that right off the bat, I already know what it is, so not interested. Seen too much of it already. It's samey. But I've seen some stuff where it's like, wow, that looks really cool. It looks like an abstract on canvas, and then it looks like someone drew it with a pencil. And then I feel like I have to ask the artist now, how is this made? And if the answer comes back, oh, AI made it for me, it's like, damn, it was so good, but I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know. So for me, that's the part that bugs me. It bugged me last week when we talked about it, and it bugged me 2 weeks ago when we talked about it, and it keeps coming back, is that, I even saw a thread, I kid you not, I saw a thread where the AI artists were saying, please don't ask us if AI made it because we don't want to tell you. You should just accept it as what it is. I'm not buying that. I have a right to know. If I feel that AI played too much part in it, I don't want to buy it. And the same could be said for people who say, well, I don't like electronic music, so if you use too many synthesizers, I don't want to buy it. I'm okay with that because because I'm being honest when I say I make my music using computers and samples and sounds and, whatever I find, this is how I make music. So if someone says, oh, I hate that kind of music, it's not for them. But if I mask it and say, no, that's a real guitar. Those are real strings. Those are real this. And in reality, I know that it isn't. Then I'm lying to them. And I'm not doing myself any favors. So yeah, I ask. I always ask. People don't like when I ask, but I ask. And I ask in a nice way. I don't like blatantly say, hey, did you make that with AI? Because if you did, I'm not buying it. I never ask that. I don't ask in that way. The way I ask is, how is this made? And then they'll explain it. And if they really explain it like, I scanned this and then I drew on it and then I brought it into Photoshop and added layers and then I, blah, blah, blah. All these different processes went into it. I respect that. I respect that work. If AI played a role in it, I don't really mind. It's just when someone says, oh, it's a prompt and this is what I did, So Aurora on Facebook says, hi, Claude, see you in Lima. Yes. I can't wait, actually. I cannot wait. I just did a promo in Spanish, which I'll probably put on YouTube tomorrow and send it now. So, yeah, anyway, silly subject. I'm quite tired of it, to be honest, because it just gets in the way of the stuff I really want to see. So, but on the other hand, I kind of look at it as a blessing because it allows me to think differently in the way that I'm going to approach certain things. So at least on that level, yeah, I'm not that worried. But anyway, let me play a song. What do I've got? Oh yeah, I've got something from Recovered. So no one called. All right. Too late now. Don't call now because I'm yeah, I just turned it off. But anyway, here's something from yeah, this is from Recovered. Recovered. Oh. That shit was funny. Let's start it over. All right. I I need to test this thing out because it's ready. It should work if someone calls in on that number. So I have no idea why it didn't come through. Hmm. I may have to try it myself. Hold, please. That was good. I almost tripped, which would have been awesome to see me fall on my fat butt. So I'm going to try my own phone and see why it's not calling because it should be working. Unless one of you want to try calling me, but I think it'll be. Oh, it is ringing.
From
Danny.
Hey, Danny, you're on the air.
Hi.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How you been?
Uh, trying to keep busy, and believe me, that means that's normal life for me to be busy. So, but yeah, yeah,
Nice.
keeping busy.
Nice. Yeah, it's weird because I was watching like when you answered, like the video on the Facebook was delayed, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
wait,
yeah. You got to turn it.
I'm like, is that an AI answering the phone?
No, no. It's that you have to. It's just like the radio station thing. You have to turn it. You got to turn it off or turn it down so
Yeah.
that you don't hear the delay.
No, no,
Otherwise,
definitely. So yeah, I was saying like I remember watching you in Sacramento like a long, long time ago. And then I met you. I don't know if you remember Craig Baxter.
yeah, yeah, yes, of course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
was staying at their house because I live up north, and I was staying at their house back like I was playing in a band. I played in a different band back then, and we were down there playing, and he's like, "You want to be Claude?" I'm like, "Wait, from anything bucks?" And I think you're working at Sam Mash, I believe, if I remember
oh
correctly.
God, the Dark
Yeah.
Ages.
and I was like, this is so cool. And I called my cousin. I was like, because my cousin was older than me back when I was a kid. He's the one that got me into you guys like back then. It was really really cool. And I was like, hell yeah. So that was really cool. And
That
like
was
the
when I was in.
subject,
That was when I was incognito.
yeah.
It was terrible. That was like the.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, you're kind of the same though. Like as when I first met you, I was like '95. I think I was 18 or 19 back then. I think something like that. And it was just really cool because like I was like the first time I saw it, like I saw you like the CD. It was a CD my cousin had of you, and I got the cassette because I couldn't afford a CD back then. And I remember just thinking like, oh, this guy's so cool. His voice sounds so cool, and
thanks, man.
like at the time I was into Depeche Mode a lot, and you
Hey,
know
we
that
all
was
we all were.
yeah, and yeah, it was really cool. And in the subject right now you have of AI is so interesting because I have a lot of friends we talk about it because. Uh, Over here at my work, I work as an audio engineer, and uh, and we were talking about how I'm like, damn, they're gonna take our jobs too.
You
For a
know,
lot of
which is
different.
funny, right? Like, I mean, I don't think it will. I don't think it'll take it, but it's going to definitely take from it. Um, you know, so I was talking with I was talking with my girlfriend this today. We were talking about because she doesn't know anything about sampling really. Like she didn't know about sampling, so she was asking me about like can you get a cello sound out of a synth or something? And I was like, well, I
Yeah.
can actually get a real cello by pulling in a library. And so I had to explain how that was done. So
Uh-huh.
think back, like maybe in 98, right? You could buy a library that was recorded from a real orchestra where they mic'd up the entire orchestra and everybody played different articulations and they did all
Yeah.
this stuff, right? So sorry folks, we're getting techie here. But if you think back, you would have to hire that orchestra to play all those parts so that they could be sampled. You couldn't it didn't create itself. You still had to find like a cello player to play and articulate all the parts.
Mhm.
The problem, though, which people quickly figured out, was once you have the library and the library was made, now all you had to do is keep altering the library. So
Yeah.
they didn't have to keep hiring the same orchestra to come back. They just used the skills, engineering skills that everybody, like people like you that you have to be like, well, we want the same cello, but it's going to be duller sounding. You put a filter on it. You didn't have to
Mhm.
go out and buy a different library with different articulations. So there's not that many, right?
No, but I think what I so like what I mainly do, I enjoy most is a monitor engineering for live concerts. And they already had, I don't even remember how long, a few years back, like a rack that's supposed to be a feed. I forgot what the name of it was called, but it's supposed to prevent feedback. And I mean, all you do now, you have an RTA, you see your frequencies bouncing up and down, and you kind of like, I mean, I think it could get to a point where to prevent feedback, it's not nothing so complicated, but there is, I guess, like as someone mentioned on your thread, the human touch sometimes, because it's not just about preventing feedback. It's also about, sometimes some bands don't ask for something, and the engineer takes the initiative to make something because they're feeling the sound, and that's where I think AI that's gonna have the problem
It's
of
not going to
having
do
the
it.
emotion of feeling it, I guess, because music's feeling it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is numbers, ones and zeros, and when it comes to certain things, but it's also feeling and like the lyrics, like I mean, lyrics. It can come up with a bunch of different. I guess lyrics, the way it comes up with it, my understanding is kind of like it's basically like sampling, right? I mean, it goes through a
Yeah, it
library
goes
all
through. It
over the
goes through.
world.
It's go through the entire world of everything ever written, and goes there. You go, but it's formulaic. It can't help it. It doesn't know how to do it any other way.
And
I
if it
mean,
doesn't have
look,
a
5 years from
yeah,
now, it might be way different. But
mhm,
to your point, so here's something that's funny. So when I go play somewhere, I have to have a conversation with the sound engineer, and my
yeah,
mom
of
and
course.
and it's always like the conversation that I have is like one of the first things I always tell them is like, number one, it's synth pop, but don't think of it like synth pop. I want you to mix this as if it was hip hop. Like I say that to
Right.
all the engineers I work with. I'm like, I want the bass, the I want the bass to like literally like thump in someone's chest and
Thump. You
knock
want
them
them to
over.
thump there. You want them
Yeah.
to feel on the chest. Yeah.
Yeah. I want and I want if the vocals get a little craggly or edgy, I'm like, that's okay. I'm like, don't pull down. Like if it distorts, let it distort. Like I like to have a certain sonic signature,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they get it. They really do. And if I say to an engineer, hey, I like delays on my vocal, and on a few songs, if you want to dub it out, I'll give you a signal and you can dub me out. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, or we'll go through it and they'll figure it out. I don't think a
You know,
machine could do that.
no, not. I don't think so. And I mean, no, we might be wrong because I think we come from a generation where we didn't grow up with screens in our face, like the phone. Now I'm showing my age. I'm 46, by the way, and I feel that a lot of the younger crowds they're used to having a screen in their face. And what I was going with, like lyrically, for example, like one of your songs, "I Felt the Pain." When I was a kid, I was in seventh grade. I used to listen to that. I'm like, I wonder what he's thinking. And I knew what you looked like by the pictures on the inserts of the cassette tape, right? And you think about that. But if you think of an AI, like who's the person, who is this entity that wrote the song? Where do you picture? I'm like, I just picture you walking, and I think if I remember correctly, it's a garden where you guys took your pictures for Peace, for the album
Yeah,
Peace. And
exactly.
yeah,
Well,
you guys
that's
are
my
like, it
point.
looks kind of like the Hanging Garden video, something like
Yeah.
that, if I remember correctly. And I remember that, but you can put a face to the lyrics, and that was like one of my favorite songs, by the way. Like,
Thank you.
I just like even when you're singing, like you like, I felt the pain when you're singing all that, and I was like, man, that sounds so cool. And an AI could probably produce lyrics that sound like that, but I won't be able to put a face to it. Now, that being said, though, I think with
We
the younger generation, they don't put faces to anything because there is no faces. But they're always all they're looking at is a screen. And I might get some people to hate on me for saying that, but I mean that's just how I feel. Like so, there's certain things. I guess it's just your product of society. We're used to having a more human touch, and that's what we were raised with. And a lot of people now aren't in touch as much as with that human connection. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's making sense or not.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. You hit the nail on the head, but and I don't mean to like, I love that young people are exploring all the technology, so I get that.
Yeah. No, I
But
mean, I
I
say the
think
same
as
thing.
humans, though, we will want to put a face to it no matter what. I
Mhm.
think we have
Yeah, 'cause
to.
I'm the same way 'cause I'm a techie person too. I'm a musician, I'm an audio engineer, and I love technology. I love it, but at the same time, it's like there's something missing with the more we're, I guess, progressing. But it's something we can't. It's just something that I have to come to terms that we're not going to be able to stop.
Yeah, I'm not out to stop it, but
I'm a
I'm
realist. I'm a
definitely,
realist.
yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we can stop it, but I think we can learn to go around it, you know?
Mhm. And I completely agree with you when you're saying, I don't. You might buy something that's AI, as long as you know it's AI. And I'm like, man, that sounds like the things you're saying. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I say to people. Because I was having a conversation with one of the lighting engineers here at my work, and she's like, no, that's not right. They're copying like a lot of the AI art, like the photography and art and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's kind of the same with music. And she's like, no, do you copy? I'm like, if you want me to be completely 100% honest, hell yeah. Every musician rips off in a sway, twisted little way. You take, I guess you could call them inspirations,
Yeah,
of every
we do.
musician you like. And
Mm,
and that's kind of what AI is doing in its own way.
in its own way, but it's a little more, I don't know. It, I agree with you. There's a part of me that agrees with you anyway, but
Mhm.
it's it's not quite the same. Like, because
No,
I'm a
it's not.
samplist. Like, I love sampling, but
Yeah.
my goal, whenever I sample something, so let me back up. So this is for the folks that are like listening and going like, "What the hell are they talking about?" So sampling is when you take a sound from something and you either put it on a key or you put it on a pad, and now you can play that sound. So there's only two types of sampling that I do, really. If I want the straight sound, meaning I like that snare drum, so I want to sample it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a snare that was played by so and so. I get it. So on that level, yeah, I'm teetering close to AI territory where I'm stealing a snare, right?
Mhm.
But the idea is I don't want you to know that that's what I did. So what I will do is I will bury that snare. I will distort it. I will put it through things so that whatever I got it from, my aim is to not have you recognize it because I don't want you to. I'm not trying to get it to be recognized.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
The other side is something where I want it to be recognized. This is a cello. So, yes, it's a real cello. It was sampled from someone playing a cello. So, I want you to hear it as a cello and know it was sampled as a cello. So,
Yeah, and it's the kind of style of music like you were saying, like you've always like that I know of, like always been kind of more of a sense the electronic music that I remember um live, and that's what I like, and I listen to it, and I know that you're not posting like another like fake people pretending to be playing, I guess, like lip singing almost, and that would be kind of like doing a Milli Vanilli, I guess you could call it.
yeah. Well,
Then
yeah,
that would
yeah.
be.
But again, it's electronic music. So I get it when people say, "Well, you play with backing tracks. Like you have tracks that are playing stuff for you, whether it's sequenced or recorded, whatever it is, they're
Mhm.
backing tracks. So that's not real musicians playing." And I'm like, "Well, you're right. They were sequenced things. So once they're sequenced, they become, you know, this
Yeah,
guy
but you're
Brian
still
George on Facebook
composing
says the
though.
hole is deepening. Yes, yeah, we're gonna fall right into like a black hole right now. But you're right though, because on the music side, yeah, we do a lot of things that AI is doing right now.
Mhm.
The difference is that it does it without any intent. And I think that that's where we get into trouble. I think that musicians do it with intent. Like I'm intent on getting that particular snare to make it work with that particular bass. because I want to make a song that draws out some lyric out of me. And I know that if I mix it a certain way or if I do something a certain way, a song's going to come out.
Yeah, no, exactly. I completely agree with you. I
You
think
know,
that's
AI won't do that. It's going to be like, I have a database of every musician that ever played a song. Since you're looking for player X, I will just find player X style, copy it, give you a riff, and there it is. And don't get me wrong, it might be good, but I won't
I mean,
feel like I wrote it. You know what I mean? Like, well, I didn't play it. I didn't make it up. I didn't even look for the sound.
I think the day that the AI can play out of consciousness, like I guess you could call it a consciousness, like a human being, then we have a shitload more things to worry about than music and coffee, because that's when the Terminator effect comes in. I remember working with the woman from Google that designed the Google Drive, and then she was doing like a. I work over here at UC Davis, and she was doing a speech, and she created like pretty much Google Drive, and when it first, like, she was part of the person that created it, and someone actually asked, like, what do you think about AI and the whole Terminator Skynet? She's all, let's not talk about that. That
Yeah.
was what you scarier. When she said that, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they don't really know. They don't know. They have no
Because
idea how to control it.
yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things. I guess technology. I think it's kind of crazy. Like somebody said on here, we're going to deep hole back because it is because there's like ethics, I guess, morals, like rights and wrongs, and everyone's gonna have a different thing about it, you know. Some people
Hey,
will be like, "Sweet, I'll make a record and not tell anybody," and they're gonna be very proud of it. I know that you're not like that, and I'm not like that. I don't
yeah,
like
I'm
being
not
proud
gonna
of
do
what I
that.
put.
Yeah, I'm never gonna
Yeah,
lie and say that I made something and it was really an AI doing it. I'm never going to do that. That is never going to happen. In
but
fact,
you know, there's gonna be someone event like within the next year or two. Someone's gonna get
oh
caught doing
yeah, I already know it's gonna happen. The thing
it.
is, and that's fine. They're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I am never doing that ever. Um, you know, so hold on. I know what I'm gonna play next because it's the controversy of it all. So I know what I'm gonna play. Let me find it and I will play this song. And it's like, I'll explain. I will
So I was gonna.
explain what's going on here. There we go. Here it is. So this is an example of, like, I'm going to play an example of me being blatant with my sample. So much so that this is a true story. I got offered a commercial to use this particular song in a commercial, like, and it was like one of those things where I was like, I don't really do that stuff. But like, they're like, we'll give you 80 grand, and I almost took it. So think about it,
Wow.
80 grand to give them the rights to a song because they loved it so much. And I thought to myself, well, I can't give you that song because it has a sample in it that's very obvious. It's from the Beastie Boys, and
Uh-huh.
I know they don't care that I sampled it, but I don't I wouldn't feel right taking the money and then having to deal with the legal ramification of it.
Yeah.
So I said no. And that was the last time. That was the very last time that I ever used a full riff ever again. Like, I thought, you
Wow.
know what? I'm never going to do that again because the sound I was going for, I could have made it. I had 5 friends at my disposal that were all amazing DJs and could have done the scratching parts. So I could have recreated the entire thing had I just worked a little harder. So it gave me a big lesson in life. I was like, I want to make it myself. Now, there are things I can't make myself, like,
Yeah.
like I understand like a sound or like, a movie clip where you hear like a bit of dialogue. That's a very different thing. But this was a case where I blatantly took one riff. Again, I knew the Beastie Boys wouldn't mind. This was a Beastie Boys sample, by the way. I
Wow.
knew they wouldn't mind, but I was thinking, well, how are they going to feel though if they see it on a TV commercial and they find out that someone paid me 80
Yeah.
grand while I use their sample? And that's when I was like, yeah, not a good idea. So I said no, and I didn't do it. So that's the song I'm going to play next. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
Well, I'll let you go. I'm actually still at work right now, but I'm gonna let you go, and hopefully sometime I'll message you. I'm gonna actually be playing down there in L.A. In July. We're going on tour to Mexico, so I'll message you privately, and hopefully I get to meet you again. It
Yeah,
was nice
man.
talking to
Do
you.
it for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, take care, Clive.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.
That was an awesome call. And I'm gonna play this particular song with a particular sample in it when I was playing AI.
Move to the bottom of this desperation. Give love a chance to increase your chances.
Dislocate all your faith, put yourself in my place. Is this the end of the road? I'm on my way, you turn back to me. I'm on my way, you treat me to break. I'm on my way, you break me again, just like you wanted to. Just like you wanted to.
Yeah, believe it or not, that was the ending of that song. Um, but it goes into the next one supposedly on the album. But anyway, but yeah, I could have done a different mix, I suppose. But once I told them about the sample, they seemed to be really bummed out because they were like, "Oh, that was the part we liked the best. We had a whole like plan behind it. It was going to be like on everything." And so, yeah, it didn't work out. That's okay. It's okay. Not everything has to work. And not every deal that comes your way should you take. So, you know, I don't regret it actually at all. But it just goes to show you like this aspect. That's why nowadays I really stray from doing that. Like I won't do it. I prefer not to. I'll take bits, but the bits I take have more to do with dialogue or a sound, or some kind of sound effect that's in a movie, and that kind of thing I'll use to make drum parts and things like that, which is different. The true definition of fair use. But, you know, it's just that's just me, you know. So whatever. It happened. But I just wanted to show that, yeah, I understand the argument that, musicians do creatively steal from one another, as do artists. We do. Absolutely. But it's not the same. Um, I would look at sampling is like in the art world, I would consider sampling sort of like you stood in front of a Picasso and you thought, wow, that's a really good color scheme. And you just wrote down the color scheme. There's a red with a green and an orange and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to do something with those colors because I like how it looked. That's the way an artist would steal. AI is like sneaking into Picasso's apartment and literally taking the painting and rearranging it and sewing it back together and saying, it's not a Picasso, it's mine. I guess that's, and yeah, again, I'm a collage artist too. So I steal all the time. But again, when I do it, nobody's going to know. I posted something like a piece of art that I was working on Twitter. And I know no matter what you do, you're never going to know where I got it from because I mangled that magazine so much and added so many chemicals and so many layers that you would never know where it came from. Not to say that I don't have some where I have shown it, but it's not the same. Yeah. But again, it's weird. It's not the art part that bothers me. So like I don't care. Like that's the part that's funny to me. I don't care. Like it drawing well or it making really good music or date that stuff, it doesn't bug me. The stuff that bugs me is deeply faked pieces of information which could be misconstrued, meaning a politician saying something he didn't say. Or maybe we're seeing the real uh inappropriate video that someone made, but they're going to say it's deep fake and we can't tell the difference. That's the stuff that bugs me. So we were talking about this last week. It bugged me then, it bugs me now. So that's the same thing. But anyway, that's just me. So, but that said, I'm just looking forward to making more stuff. So for me, it's just like, I don't want to get caught up with it so much that then it hinders my own creativity. So I stay away from the arguments as much as possible and I just work on art, music. So, it's easy to get discouraged if you're an artist. But if you're doing your work, that's it. Just do your work. I don't know. I'm missing a conversation here. Ooh. Oh. Yeah. So in a funny way, I know this is gonna sound blasphemous, but in a funny way, I'm happy that Ed Sheeran won that court case. I'm happy that it's not spilling over so much that we still have some degree of control over copyright, so that frivolous lawsuits don't get filed, because we don't want that either. Because if everyone starts suing everyone, then what's going to happen is that then we destroy the copyright laws altogether. So in this case, after I heard the track, I think it was more, I call it inspired more than I would call it like a downright copy. I've heard downright copies. Um, this isn't me saying this. I've heard this before, that there are some bands that have plagiarized so badly that they get sued like every other year. So I can definitely see how that could work in some cases where some people like, do bad stuff. But at the same time, blatant stealing is not, but again, I don't care. I don't care about AI and AI art. I don't care. No competition. I don't see it as competition, which is funny. But I do care, of course, of the jobs for other types of jobs that it's taking. That stuff I do care about, because people are going to suffer, and that bothers me quite a bit. Um, when it comes to designers and um, art directors, things like that. We've talked about this before, but that side of it does bug me, because people will lose their jobs, and but then again, hopefully people will latch on to more naturalistic, humanistic things to do, which will be a lot better for our society anyway. Um, at least that's what I hope. But anyway, I should play something. Oh, I've got one. Um, true. True that. Mai says on Facebook, I think there's a difference between playing homage to your influences and straight up plagiarizing them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, there's a band out of I believe they're from London. I want to say they're from London. There's a band out of London called Computer, and they sound a lot like Kraftwerk. They're definitely influenced by Kraftwerk, and even their album titles are influenced by Kraftwerk. But I love them because the songs are their own thing. But I can tell that they're heavily influenced by Kraftwerk. Um, so, you know, exactly. So, yeah, but I still love them. So it's a funny thing that there's a fine line, and it's very easy to cross it, obviously. So anyway, but there's room for everything. I'm always like of the mind that there's room for everything. So today, for example, I was on Bandcamp. Yes, this is a story about Bandcamp. So I was on Bandcamp, and I was trying to get some codes for my own stuff because I was updating the pages, whatever, yada yada. But on Bandcamp, just like Spotify, it'll say, if you like this album, then these might be of interest to you. What I love about Bandcamp is that, unlike Spotify, where it'll say, you know, people who listen to this band love these other bands, and it's always the same 10 synth pop bands. It's going to be Depeche Mode, Information Society. Not that I have anything against that, but there are other influences and other places that I point to that aren't represented in those algorithmic AI picking things. And on Bandcamp, it feels very different. It takes an overall look at my entire catalog. So when it recommends things, it'll say, since you like this record, you might like this other record. And I find myself like listening to like electronic folk, rap, different types of electronic music based on the suggestions of my own stuff. And it gets it right pretty good. Like, it really gets it right. So today I was messing around, and I found like two or three new bands that I was like, oh, this is cool. Like one band was out of Spain. I really liked them. Another one was from New Zealand. It wasn't quite synth pop. It was its own thing. And I love when I find something that's off kilter. And so I feel that when I look at the AI spectrum, I'm not going to see the off kilter stuff. I'm going to see a lot of the same. So that's why it doesn't bother me. I will always find cool stuff, especially on Bandcamp. So anyway, that's my rant on that. But let's play a song because I have a song. So this is a funny one. 2 minutes long from I'll figure it out.
A soldier is waiting for his war to end. He'll soon see his lover, she waits by the train. He looks out his window, what does he see? A perfect long pasture, yellow and green. The girl is impatient, her tears are long dry. She wipes them with tissues that float in the air. Her hair blows in the wind, it fills her inside. To think of her soldier who fights for her rights. Soon they will find that the world is brand new. No more depression and nothing to lose. Lovers and children will sing to the skies. Blessed is freedom, wondrous is love.
$19.45. Have no idea why I played that one, but it just popped up into my little feed there, and I was like, ooh. And then another one popped up that I was like, I think I'm going to end it with an instrumental tonight. But so yeah, I hope we get off this AI kick soon. It's a subject that's starting to bore me now. I hear it so much that it's starting to become. But see, this is the problem. I think it's going to become so inundated that it's just going to bore everybody. So it's like, it's a glorified word processor, literally. So yeah. Anyway, all is good. So yeah, this week, hope could go live. Because I'm going to be sending it off to be manufactured. And guess what? I'm going to use part of my crypto to pay for it, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy that a lot, actually. So that a lot of the manufacturing for this is going to come from my crypto, which is interesting. It's an interesting experiment and I'm willing to try it. So yeah. So I'm okay. But one of the things that's funny is that I haven't been really social this week. Like I haven't been online a lot. because I've been so busy, and I think I'm gonna get busier. So don't feel bad if you don't see me, and I'm gonna try to consolidate where I am to be more productive and creative. So if I see a lot of like weird stuff happening, I'm gonna try to avoid it because I need a break from it. And so yeah, we can take one more. Let's see. Can we? Oops. Yeah, we can take a caller. Go for it. Do you know the number? In case you don't, this is the number. Ooh, snap. Yeah, try calling and see if we get. And there it is.
Call from
Dan.
Hey, Dan, you're on the air.
Buenas noches, Glad.
Buenas noches.
Para cambiar la tema, to change the topic, since you asked about changing the AI topic, I was curious
Sure.
about when you play in Latin America. Have you ever had any bands open up for you that are local? And if so, what may have those bands been? Because like I've seen stuff where like Alfonso from Moenia has come on and sang "Living in Oblivion" with you and stuff like that. But I'm just curious what some of those other Latino bands from South America that may be doing stuff in Spanish that may have opened up for Anything Box down there.
It's a good question. Obviously the shows with Moenia were big shows. We did shows with Moenia in Ecuador and Peru, and they were fantastic shows, and double headliner type things. But as far as like opening bands, there was some local bands that opened up for us in Peru, which I really liked. Um, the name is a difficult one to remember, but I have it here, which is funny. You can't see it, but I literally have the flag that I brought back. So I had like when we went to Peru the last time we were there, we had Robert Enforson playing with us. We had Alex Smitty from Moenia playing with us, and a band from Peru called Irinium, which is actually pretty good. They were more gothy, and it was fun. Um, so yeah, like there's been a few, um, but not as many as I would have liked. Um, Usually they'll pick someone like a lot of the shows I've done in South America are like big shows. So it'll be like a bunch of us playing. So I think in Ecuador we did it with uh Book of Love. Um who else? Info Society? Was it Info Society? It's a tough one. But it's usually
Sure.
bigger bands, a lot bigger bands more than it's local bands. Um, I actually tend to love when local bands play. I think that's actually cooler. Um, because I get to see like whatever, someone a lot younger that just starting out, so they have their own sound, they have their own thing going on. So I like to be introduced to new music that way rather than like, well, I know this band, they have 6 records out. Yeah, we're playing with them. It makes sense, but I already know them. You know what I mean? Exceptions
No,
to that?
exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I
sorry.
was asking you that. That's why I was asking you that question to see if you could introduce us to some other Spanish language bands
Yeah,
that maybe we don't know of.
Iridium was good. Now, see, there's bands that I love that I haven't had a chance to play with, but I do love them. In Argentina, for example, I haven't played Argentina, but I absolutely love Farmacia and I love Hidden Souls. I love both those bands, and they're both from Argentina. Although Hidden Souls technically is out of Germany now, but one of the people in it, or at least two of them, are Argentine. So
But based on that name, I assume they sing primarily in English.
Hidden Souls actually does both.
Okay.
Farmacia does not. Uh, which basic that name, by the way, means pharmacy, which is like an excellent
Yeah,
name
yeah,
for a band.
yeah, yeah.
And they're more experimental, and they sing in Spanish almost exclusively, but I like them a lot. Um, Both of those bands did remixes for me last year or so. It could be longer than that. Like my sense of time is always weird, by the way. Um,
I
but
gotcha.
yeah.
The older we get, the more our sense of time gets warped.
Yeah. But yeah, like well, Eric on Facebook mentioned Guy Fawnes, and I think we did a show with Guy Fawnes in Mexicali, and we once played with Mana, which is funny,
Oh
and
wow.
Furia, and a bunch of the rock and español bands. So,
Sure.
so we we've been in different circles. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't know that I actually played with Easy E once on the same bill. So I've had my share of like not quite the normal anything box, or I should say synth pop shows. I've done shows with Helmet. I did a show with Helmet once, which was kind of funny. And I actually really loved it. So, and it worked out. So, and I got to share a
Because I have a
stage.
friend. I have a friend that was tried to share something earlier, but I couldn't see the comment about IMX playing with you at one point.
No, I wish. No, that's never
Oh, okay.
happened. I love IMX, but I went to go see IMX, but no, we've never
Maybe
shared a
that's what it
stage.
was.
No, that would have been awesome. That would be an
That would have been
awesome
awesome.
mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, like, so IMX came out with a new album this week, and so did Moenia. They have stereo hits too. So I was just curious if you heard of either of those albums yet and
No,
what you thought of them.
no, no. It's funny. So I have this friend, right, who just finished an album, and he's a good friend of mine. But here's this funny thing that happens. I have him. I have another friend of mine named Dan, which is really funny, uh, who I love to death. But he loves to like he's a total music fanatic, so he's always buying records. So he's like,
Mm-hmm.
I've just listened to the Depeche Mode album like 6 times. We need to analyze these songs one by one. Like, this is what the stuff we would do. So we would get into
Sure.
the car and analyze the stuff, right? And so, as with my other friend, I've said, no, I can't listen to anything right now because I'm in album mode. Even though I'm finishing up this book, I'm still listening to the stuff from the new record that I'm doing and still trying to finish parts and stuff. And I can't have outside influences. I don't want to have anything that'll distract me or like take me away from where I'm at. So I purposely have avoided anything new that's out by anyone that I know or bands that I love. So
Okay.
I avoid it like the plague. I got to listen to the Depeche Mode album. I heard it once. I may have heard one or two songs twice, and then I was like, I need to put this away. I don't want to listen to this. It could influence a decision because I'm susceptible. So I'm like, no, no, no. And I think every musician is, but basically. So I was like, nope. I need to put this stuff away. Work on on in my little corner. Once my record's out, then it's like, cool. Claude can be a collector again and collect other records. But while I'm working on records, I tend to be very, I don't want to say snobbish because that's not the right word, but sort of skittish is the better word. Skittish or wary of listening to other records. Um, just because it could creep in. And it doesn't even have to creep in
Sure.
like as an influence. It creeps in like, oh man, that sounds so good. Mine didn't sound this good. I guess I got to go
Gotcha.
back to the
Yeah.
drawing board, because you get that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
or the feeling that like it happens, right? Like where you're like, oh my God, they're on the same trajectory sound wise. What am I doing? Like now, if I put it out, they're going to think this, and I don't want that either. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
avoid listening to things until I'm done. That'll be my treat. When I'm done, I'm like, cool, I can listen to records for a while.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
You
And I
know?
was on your endpop site tonight because you had to announce that you updated it. So I'm just curious, like when the Hope book
Really soon.
anniversary, yeah. So that when that comes out, like I don't want to miss like. So is there going to be something out there on that site
Yes,
for the pre-orders? Because right
absolutely.
now it just talks about it, but there's nothing that you can click
Yeah,
on and
not
say,
yet.
I'm
Not
ready to
yet.
pre-order. Okay.
Let me give you the hint. Well, it's not a hint. It's very blatant. It's gonna be on Bandcamp. So
Okay.
check. You can check on an Unpop site, or you can check the Anything Box site. Either of the two are gonna have it. But the minute it goes live on Bandcamp, it will be live on my site as well. Meaning that that's where you're gonna
Okay.
see it. It's not gonna be anywhere else, or So, yeah.
Okay. We talking about like weeks or months?
Pre-order?
Not to pressure you.
No, pre-orders will start this week.
Okay.
I Since I'm done, so I'll give you the skinny. There's two moving parts because one is the book and one is the what I call the backup CD that's going in the book, right?
Yeah.
And they're both from two separate manufacturers that don't have anything to do with each other. So those are moving parts. So it means that book can't go out or be shipped to anyone until the CDs are there, and or either or. And then I have to put the two of them together, sign each one, and do all that stuff because there's, like I said, I'm going to sign them right as they come in.
Yeah.
So my best guess is that from the minute it shows up on Bandcamp, it'll take about a month before we see it.
Okay.
That's my best guess. I don't see it taking longer. It could be a lot shorter, but I definitely will say that from the moment you place that, the moment you reserve your copy, it's safe, but it's going to be about a month. So
No, yeah, I'm fine. I just want to be able to make sure that I can place an order and see it soon enough to do that.
yeah. So most definitely. So all right, man, you're going to see
Okay.
us out. So
Okay.
what do you want to
Perfect.
hear?
Based on the topic tonight that I know you wanted to stop talking about, which I'm ready to move on, I would like to ask for You Define Yourself.
Ooh, good one. All right. From Universe. Wait, Universe? I always get them mixed up because I'm like, after so
No,
many records, man, I'm like,
it's from your last one.
oh, from Distances.
Yes.
Oh, that's a nice one. I remember which one you're talking about. I was thinking of I was thinking um of a song off of Universe, but it's funny. No, perfect. That's a good one. Actually, I don't get to play that one a lot anyway. So yeah, that's awesome. Cool. All right, man.
Hey, thanks again, Claude. Buenas noches. Thanks
Thank
for the
you.
call.
Thank you. All right. So here we are. We're at the end and we made it. I'm going to play You Define Yourself, followed by an instrumental that will lead us out. And we're done.
like the only person living in a painted dream. So look in my direction, you will feel my true intention. From the depths of reason, you will find a whole new path. You define yourself. You define yourself. You define yourself. You define floating on a cloud, lay your concepts down, move your doubts aside, and give me all you got. So look in my direction, you will feel my true intention. From the depths of reason, you will see a whole new path to define yourself. You define yourself. You define yourself. You define yourself. You define yourself.
I'm part of it. Can't you see it?